I created a tool within a week and started making 3 sales a day. I'm still in awe. I'm still confused. Okay. And I want to show you exactly how I did that because right now there is a crazy amount of opportunity and I want you to take advantage of it because this is like the internet time, okay? When people started jumping and making websites, starting businesses because they were the first, this is the time. This is the time to take action. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can literally build anything and sell it. So, what you're going to need is, first of all, Claude. I'm sure you've heard of it. Claude is an insanely powerful tool. You might have heard of Base 44. You might have heard of Replin. You might have heard of a Replit. You might have heard of, several different platforms that are now coming to ServiceNow where you can build apps, and I've tried them, and some of them have good features, and it's good for beginners. I would just skip it all, and use Claude because let me tell you, Claude can build literally whatever you want, and it's really crazy. It's really crazy. I want to show you guys how to do that. So let's get right into it, okay? So I made just like a quick list here. I'm going to go through each one. Buckle in, take some notes because literally, if you follow this, there's no reason that you won't see any results, okay? Because I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Just to give you a little background really quick, you can skip this if you want, but I have been doing e-commerce. I've been involved in e-commerce for the longest time. I worked at Shopify, worked with enterprise merchants at Shopify. I have built several businesses online, in person. I have digital marketing experience. I've bought courses. I've hired mentors. I've you know you name it. So I'm here putting all the pieces together because and showing you how to do that. But it really takes knowing what you're doing and obviously, like some people just like to jump into things and think that they can achieve a great amount of success. That was me 10 years ago, but then trial and error, actually taking action, learning from others. That is what brought me to understand all the layers that it takes to have a successful business. Okay. This doesn't have to be revolutionary. This doesn't have to be something that is going to be the next Uber, the next Canva, the next whatever. This is something that you are making, like you're solving someone's problem. You're making money from it. You can easily make 5, 10, 20, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I'm not just saying that. This is very realistic. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is obviously to find an idea. A lot of people might find this the most difficult part. For me, I personally found this the most difficult part because I don't know about you, but my mind goes into this rabbit hole. I overthink it. Either, I think it's this fantastic idea and it's not, or it is, and I just think it's not. And it's just the important thing is data doesn't lie. Okay, we want to find things that maybe people are already selling, and I know that it's really tempting to reinvent the wheel and to start something new and hope that it's revolutionary, but I think at this stage you need to just do what's already working, just do it better. And so in this case, if we go, for example, Etsy's a great place to look into places, right? We're in a sweet spot right now where there are PDFs, spreadsheets, ebooks, all these things that can be turned into like an optimized tool. Okay. And the beauty of having Claude and AI is that you can create it in less than a week. Okay. You can create it in days, in hours. And I used to think of so many different ideas and then wonder like am I really going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars hiring a software engineer to build something that may or may not work or may just generate a few bucks. In this case, yeah, you're spending time to build these things, but let's say it doesn't go well or it kind of dies down, which we will validate before actually getting into things. But even if that is the case, okay, you spent a few hours, you spent a couple days, couple weeks, you didn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It just makes things less risky, and that's what we need. So Etsy's a great place to look into these things. Like for example, you have you know, let's see, like there are some spreadsheets that we can look into. Like these are just books. So let's say let's look into a spreadsheet just for example, okay? And this is like, there are plenty of problems that you can solve and things that you can create to help people. And whether that's B2B businesses, let's say you want to help mechanics. I don't know about you, but my mechanics, every mechanic that I go to is completely unorganized. And I've always thought of creating a tool that kind of helps them, kind of like a CRM, but specific to them. So things like that, that the world is our oyster here. But for example, like this is a spreadsheet of like a life planner, which is great, um, instead of having a spreadsheet where things can break at any point, you put in a letter by accident and everything breaks. Not to say that you won't have technical issues that you have to deal with a tool, but it's just so much better. And this is what we're offering to people. And if you want to take it even a step further, going into the reviews, looking into like how to make this better. And one thing I do recommend when looking into this is doing things, looking for things that you are more familiar with, because you'll actually understand what can make this better. Doesn't have to be. One of my tools was in the wedding industry. I know nothing about the wedding industry, but I know that they like to buy things. Okay. So I did my best and kind of put myself in their position, and like, how could I have a tool that, removes the pain point? Bookkeeping spreadsheets, tasks, budgets, all of these things are spreadsheets that have yet to be converted into these great tools. Okay. And it goes beyond that. Okay. Go on, places like Reddit, start asking questions. Like if you are thinking of a specific idea, then look into Reddit, see what tools people are using right now for that specific problem and what they like, what they hate about it. How can you make it better? Okay. So these are things like finding an idea. Another thing too is going into, I use an extension called Keywords Everywhere. It's really helpful and pretty cheap. And basically, it'll tell you, like, let's say, financial planner. I don't know how to spell. It'll tell you the search volume, so 5,400 a month. And if you scroll down, you have more information on the keywords. So at least if you know, you can also adjust this to either global or your country. At least this way you know, are people actually searching for this? Are people looking for answers? Um, Answer the public. Okay, that's another one. Um, Answer the public. You have questions, you can kind of see what kind of questions people are asking. Okay. So I won't go too much into finding an idea because I think you should just start. Okay. Choose anything that already exists, make it better, or try to find problems, either problems that you're facing yourself or problems that your friends are talking about. Things that you can, if you want this to be a business a long term business, then you really want to hone in on what that tool fixes for them, and really kind of talk to your audience, talk to your ideal customers, see like what tools are they using now that maybe companies are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for software for. How can we make it better and it'll be cheaper? Okay, so after that, you're validating the idea, like I said. So keyword research, I think it's really important because you don't want to spend all your time working on this, even though I mentioned, it's not a whole lot of time, it's still your time. So you want to validate, they want to just make sure that this is something that people would pay for, okay? And then you want to build the tool. And for this example here, I'm just going to build a financial tracker, okay? Personally, I used to use, like, I think it was called Mint, and it no longer exists, okay? And so what I did is, honestly, I've gotten carried away. I just create tools for anything that I need these days because that's how helpful Claude is, okay? So I did already start this financial portfolio, but I kind of want to show you what I did. Okay. Kind of bad timing because I'm reaching my limit. I really did go hard in Claude the past week. So, but basically, you're just describing what you want to Claude. You're telling it exactly what you're looking for, from the design to the structure, the skeleton, whatever, and you are going to fix it as you go. Okay. So, um, I basically went into Claude and say, build me a financial tracking tool for personal finances. This tool will have tabs and graphs, or it's going to be user friendly and mobile friendly and da da da. Okay, so this is what you're gonna do. You start there, you get it to build it, you look at it, it probably doesn't look that great, and then you start fixing. Okay, so one example is this here. So it'll show you on the right side here how your tool looks. And from there, you just start making adjustments. So let's say I want to change the name, okay, to change the name to Dre Hustles Money. Okay, and then give it a little second. This is obviously for people who are not really familiar with Claude. You see it now. Dre Hustles Money. It changed, okay? It can do the unimaginable, and be patient with it because obviously like I'm in awe at what it can do, but then if there's one thing that like doesn't look right, I'm just like, so like just be patient with it. I'm so even I just can't. It's just such a cool thing. It's such a cool tool. It's also very scary. It's scary too. Um okay. So basically, I'm not going to go too much into this, but you're going to create the tool, take your time, make sure it's perfect and how exactly how you want it, okay? It works like you want it. Even the smallest thing you want to adjust, make it perfect. You have the ability to make it nice, okay? You don't have to be like an extreme perfectionist. I do suggest that like as long as it's a good product, and then you deploy it, you share it with people when that time comes, and then you can always upgrade slowly, slowly. Listen to your customers. What do they like? What do they don't like? Um, stuff like that. And that's another thing too, is you can even create a little this one's for me, so I didn't add stuff to it because it's just for my use. But when I make tools for users, I'll put things at the bottom like report an issue, submit feedback, da da da. So that way you are also, in communication with your customers, with your users, and you're understanding like what they don't like, if there's an issue and all that stuff. Okay. So once your tool is all done, now you will, when you start using Claude, you'll see like you have an outputs folder, and that's gonna like make sure like it kind of saves all your information in that folder. So it's kind of like a memory, and you're also going to use that to deploy the project. And when I say deploy, I mean to ship it, to publish it. And okay, so build the tool. Let's say we have the tool all built up, and we're going to come back here to other important things like dealing with technical issues, dealing with bugs. How do you, manage your users, all that stuff. So building the tool, then you're going to build the brand. Okay. So we're talking about the financial portfolio here, but if I use my other tool that made me, several sales a day, that was more of like in the wedding industry. Okay, the way that I branded it is I went on Etsy and I was seeing like, let's say, wedding digital planner. Like all of these look the same. All of these look the same to me. Okay, they all look the same. There's no reason that I'm choosing this or the other. I'm probably just gonna look at like the little things and just eventually be sold on whatever. So what I did is I created a tool that kind of more spoke to the audience. Like it was different, okay? And I don't know how I'm going to show you this without exposing my brand because there are so many people out there that like to stress people out and copy them and do all these things. I'm not going to show you what I did, but what I'm trying to explain is that I turned it into a brand, okay? I'm not just purchasing this because I like it. I'm purchasing it because I like the brand. And if you've all heard of branded drop shipping, this isn't drop shipping, but branded drop shipping, it's just drop shipping. But what you're doing is you're getting people connected to your brand, to your image. Let's say I'm doing like a luxury thing, or this seems like more of like a poppy, it's giving kind of branded. Like let's say they were all this color, like the logo was this color. And because of that, people start to recognize your brand. They recognize your colors. They recognize, your cool kind of aesthetic look, So having that is super important because it's going to differentiate you. People want to buy from you specifically because they like your content, they like your logo, they want to be a part of it. Okay. It's not just another planner. Okay. They want to be a part of the experience, and that's what differentiates you. And by the way, that is the case for any business. Okay. Obviously, there are exceptions, but for the most part, in this day and age, branding is so important. Just for the fun of it, let's look into some branding content here. Let's say we are doing the Dre Hustles money, okay? I want to do some orange. I don't know if you guys know Wealth Simple, but I like that luxury vibe, I want to like appeal to people who I'm somebody who likes the aesthetics, okay? I like it makes me want to look at things, not confusing. It's nice. This is the type of thing that we want to do. So like let's create something really quick here. And like I'm not saying this is like pretty, but like we have a lot to go through, okay? What I'm trying to get at here is that we want some cool, like, I'm fuck with that. If you put that here, I'm gonna recognize this tool, okay? Anyway, luckily things like Canva, there's lots of options. Okay, so when you do pick a logo, try to stick with the same colors. I'm not saying it has to be exactly that, or you have to throw your logo on every picture, every content, all over your website. No, the idea here is to create a vibe. You remember your brands from their colors, their vibes, their personality. Okay, and that's the idea here. Okay, so you're gonna see me using different tools here. Canva, I've been using Canva for over 5, 6, 7 years, more actually, using it all the time. I thought at one point I was gonna stop using it when all this AI started, but that's not the case. Canva is pretty ahead, honestly. It's also a different lane. Like you really want to be able to get in there and adjust your designs. They do have AI as well, which like meh, it works well, but it still needs a lot of work. But no affiliations. I have 3 subscribers on here. Nobody cares, but Canva, Canva knows me. Okay. So once you're building the brand, you built your image, you built your personality, you built all this stuff, then start building your socials, start building landing pages. And we can go back into Claude for landing pages because Claude is amazing. Okay. Claude will build some landing pages. It built me honestly, I wasn't a fan of the last landing page that it built for me. But you gotta train it, you gotta work with it. Eventually it comes down to what you need it to. But the point is it comes up with like great landing pages. All you gotta do is copy, and paste the HTML into wherever you're using. I like to also ask Claude. I like to say, hey Claude, hey Claudia, um, you see this landing page here? Can you just follow it? Like this is supposed to be, it's actually from Shopify's website, but it's supposed to be the layout of what a good landing page would is, okay? A bold problem focused headline. Right when your customers, your users, right when they land on your landing page, that is what is going to sell them. Okay, you can have a great problem to solve. They're interested, you have a great video content, you're showing them the tool. As soon as they click on your landing page, if it doesn't answer their problem, if it sucks or looks ugly and outdated and not trustworthy, you're going to get some bounces. Okay, so landing page is a very important thing for sales. Okay, obviously the product is the most important thing, but you can make sales. If your product sucks, they'll just be upset with you. But the landing page is what sells. Okay, so I'll plug this into Claude and I'll say, make me a landing page based on the tool that we just created, and show our users exactly what they get, what it is. Maybe even show them a live video on how it works. I was in awe when I saw that. Okay, when I was like, Claudia, can you do this? Can you do that, Claudia? I call her Claudia sometimes. You do that and it can. Okay. It made this like perfect. Here I was like screen recording the tool. It looked so pixely and ugly. Claude can do that too. Like it could do the unimaginable. Okay. So make use of it. And let me tell you, I paid what, $28? $28. Once you build the landing pages, now you're building automation. So, like I said, I am using Shopify because they are the best. Okay? I use extensions like Pagefly, which is an app on Shopify, and that's just a landing page app. Okay. And what I do with that is I take, like I showed you earlier, I just copy that and paste it, and boom, you have the link. As soon as you're promoting the product, you're sharing it with somebody, whatever, they land on the landing page. Okay. Now here we're in build automations. That's because I use Shopify to also build automations. And what are automations? I use, for example, Shopify Flow. And that's basically just automating the whole damn process. As soon as you build the tool, you build your branding, you build everything around it, you make sure everything is solid, you build your automations so that as soon as somebody purchases from you, they get the email automatically, they access their planner, they get other emails if they need help to leave a review, da 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 da. That is the beauty of digital products. You don't have to worry about shipping, you don't have to worry about fulfilling, you don't have to worry about any of that. Yes, you have to audit the tool, make sure it's working. And the way that we do that is every now and then, every couple of days, I'll come in and be like, hey, Claude, can you audit my tool? Is everything okay? Is it working? Are there any issues? Okay, I have an old store here, so I'm just going to use that. But basically, the way that I do it is here's your page fly. You go into pages, you create a new blank page, or you can create from a template. Let's say it's a product page. And then basically you can use, instead of using this, you just use the elements here. And there should be HTML liquid. So that's when you just add it here. And then you copy your code, you enter it here. This is your tool, by the way, so this isn't going to work. But the landing page, let's say the landing page, you'll copy it, paste it here, and it shows up. Okay. And then you just connect the product. So um, the product will have to be created. So you'll just create the product in here, and then you'll connect it to your page fly. Okay, so that way, when everything is connected, then like as soon as they buy from the landing page, it purchases that same product because it's connected. Okay, and then we have Flow. Flow is my favorite extension app on Shopify, but now they have like Sidekick AI, so you can basically tell it to build things for you. Build a flow that sends an email to customers that purchase the product XYZ. Now, I don't have any products on the store, so it's not going to work well, but that's how you do it, right? And then you just go in and make some adjustments, okay? And I might miss some things throughout this video. So comment below any questions you have, I will answer them, okay? I'm here to help. I'm here to build a community of people who, want to build, like I've been in your shoes. So just ask me questions. I'm happy to answer. So basically what I use is Netlify. It's completely free for some reason. And basically you'll create a project here. And let's see, let's say I'm creating a project, and you would just, here where it says upload your project, you just go into the actual tool that you created and you drag it here. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I'll miss out on my credits, but because you do get credits. But once you deploy that, it's live. Okay, once you have it there, it's live. You just give people the link that it provides to you. Okay. Now, if you want to manage users and have more control over who's signing in, signing out, whatever, you can use something like Supabase. Okay, that is also free up until a certain amount of users, and yeah, so that's something. So after building your automations, after deploying the app and all this stuff, you want to build your social media pages. This is where, you bring out your personality, you start making content. Okay, when you build your social pages, you don't necessarily need to build pages on every platform. Personally, I like to do Instagram. I like to depends on your type of tool also, because one of my tools was very aesthetic, that type of crowd. I did choose Instagram. I also chose TikTok. I always choose TikTok for the most part because it's like fast content, people engage more, and it kind of lets you test out different content, see what's working, what isn't working. Okay. And that's when you take that content and you start creating ads with it. Okay. And now ads is a whole different video. I'll make a whole different video on that. Obviously, it's a better way to bring in sales, but it does cost money. You have to kind of make sure you're not spending more than what your um, tool costs, and that kind of can get difficult, right? So if you're just starting out, start out with organic content. I try to create like at least post 2 videos a day on each platform. Like you can use the same videos on each platform. You'll also need to create a Facebook page. That's just going to help you for ads later down the road. You don't really have to do much there. If you're using Instagram, you can just cross post there. But for the most part, I'm using CapCut for templates. And I just kind of scroll and see what has the vibe of my brand, and then just kind of replace it with what makes sense with my tool. Utilize ChatGPT for ideas. Google some AI apps. I mean, there's so many, and I'll leave that up to you because some of them are expensive, some of them are not that great. Higgsfield is a great one, but a little pricey. Depends on what you're trying to do and use. Um, what you're trying to spend. I use Kafka because it's free. Even the paid version is pretty cheap. Canva even has some templates. Like they're really doing well in that area now because they know the importance. But I'm not sure if I can show you here, but they do have some video templates that you can use. I'll give you an idea for my this was on CapCut. Like this is an example when I was making the tool for the planner. Um, I name, but this is just a template, and I just kind of replaced it with things that made sense. Okay, and you can again find this on Canva, find it on Capca, and like if you're willing to spend money, Higgsfield. Um, what else? There are so many. There are obviously a lot of people using AI avatars. Not a bad idea as long as it's good quality, as long as it doesn't look too fake. People can be weary about that. So, but the idea here is just get into it. Try, see what works. Don't get discouraged by not getting enough likes or whatever the case. But um, yeah, like you just want to create as much content as possible. Also, know that it's not overnight. It took me a while. Like right now, I started a new account and I have like 12 followers. But even then, like before, I used to be like 12 followers. Now it's like wow, like it's working. I mean, if data isn't a strong indicator, like I mean, you got to trust the data. Like people actually, there are people who want it. So obviously, when you're running ads, it speeds things up. The Facebook algorithm will show people that actually want your tool, or most likely that want your tool. It'll show it to them. But you're spending money, so it depends on you, your budget, and whatnot. And again, I'll have another video on ads. But after that, you're just pushing content. All you have to do is push content, whether you want to outsource that or not. Push content, push content, push content, and you're doing the same essentially with ads. You're just testing. Okay. Um, Maybe look at some other videos as well if you really want to get into ads. But I will start another video on that. I will share another video on that. But for now, if you're just starting out, like there's nothing wrong with organic content. There's so many videos that eventually, like the more you post, eventually one of them is going to do well and bring you some sales. So the idea is that you're solving a problem. So when people look at your social pages, they understand what you are actually selling and they want to buy it. So if you're solving a problem, you don't have to worry about getting sales. All you have to worry about is getting traffic, getting people to see that they can solve their problem with you. Okay. So once that's all said and done, like I said, you're just pushing content, kind of waiting for sales there, and then eventually you're building a system that works for itself. You start making money, you start spending money on ads to make more money. You can have affiliate programs where you can get people to promote it for a small percentage. Your margins are so low, so like it's okay for you to spend money on that when you're comfortable. So those are ways to do it as long as you're getting like consistent daily sales, and then either keep it if you think it's an evergreen market and it's going to last a long time, or plan to exit, and then there you go, you have some money there, and you can work on the next project. That's pretty much my thought process there. So although I showed you kind of everything, there is obviously a lot of detail to go through. So comment below what you want more information on. If you have more questions, leave a like. I mean, I have 3 subscribers right now. I'm trying to build this up. I'm trying to build my community. But yeah, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like about the video, and I'm just gonna keep improving and giving you guys all the tea.